Hello, I'm Jay, and welcome to Jay Design. So what we're going to be talking about today is this thing right here. So this is it's a 12-foot trailer, I think is what it's called, but on the, you measure to the nose of it, it's 16 feet in the box, but it's 12 to like where the V is not. But essentially what this thing is it's going to be, behind that door is going to be a living quarters, and then forward of that door, so towards the camera, is going to be a like workshop fabrication type of deal. I've already actually ran welders off of the battery system. You can't really see it, but it's in there. I'll show you in there in a second. There's a battery system in there. Go check out the video where I actually ran a welder off of battery power. So hopefully we'll be able to do welding off grid essentially. There's going to be solar on the roof of this guy as well. But anyways, I just wanted to give an update of how the project's going. I think it's been about 2 weeks, and pretty sure this trailer looked nothing like this. I had the toolbox in here, but I think I had it on casters, so it's off casters now. This is really nice too because I can lock it. Obviously it's a big security issue. These doors are not tremendously hard to get into. It's just a crappy lock, and then the door on that side is not hard to get into either because it's a simple little lock like this guy. Not tremendously pick resistant, so it's super nice to have full tool storage. But anyways, this is kind of one of the crown jewels of the interior. So I'm building out all this custom paneling here. I can show you that here. I need to build it out all custom because the AC is essentially breathing from underneath the floor. So the fresh air comes on the floor and then exhausts all of its heat out this way into the workshop. And like I said before, there's a living quarters on here. Here's the door. And then there's a cool side of it. It's tremendously complicated for me to manage essentially all three different zones, essentially drawing from under the floor, exhausting out the back, and then the cold air going into the living space. But yeah, it's a floor breathing air conditioning. Real quick, I'm sure someone will wonder why the heck I didn't go through the wall. Oh man, I just realized I'm wearing this shirt. Oh well, it's an old work shirt. Anyways, I don't want the air conditioning going through the wall. It's gonna get knocked off by stuff potentially, and obviously stone chips getting thrown at the coils on the back of the air conditioner is not good, and that's bad for aerodynamics. The other thing was stealthability. So when I'm obviously living inside of this thing in the middle of nowhere, I don't want people hearing the air conditioning. If that air conditioning is kind of driving its noise down to the floor, it's going to be harder to know somebody's living in this thing essentially, and I want it to be very stealthy. Another big update, there is a door right there. That is super cool, but I'm going to eliminate it, unfortunately. So I really wanted to get this door on video. There's really no point for me to be able to go from the living space directly into the workshop. Essentially I'll just use that one door and this big bay door that's behind me. This big bay door that's behind me right here. The door is super cool. The door would allow for some really good ventilation. I know those walls right there are not open, but I mean they'd be I know they're open right now, but they'd be closed in the future. And this door here, if you can see that, there's a screen right here. That would be amazing for ventilation, but I'm gonna run a fan off of this wall here. It's gonna like kind of swing out this way, and I'll be able to shoot air into this thing and into the workshop. So I don't think it's gonna be a big concern. The main reason I'm eliminating this door is because it kind of limits the amount of like storage space and like desk space that I can have in the living area. We're gonna show you that in a second. And just like sealing around this door, if you can see how complicated that sheet metal is, it's just going to be easier for me to eliminate the door. All right, so let me take you into the living space here. Ooh, actually, I was going to walk around, but let me take you through the door that's about to not exist. So cool, huh? That's cool, but unfortunately it's about to not be a thing. So anyways, we'll take a quick spin around here. Hopefully you can see everything. It's a very small space and hard to record in here. It'll be pretty weird living in here too. But essentially that's a fridge freezer. Again, there's a battery system. Those batteries will be in the fabrication space. I don't want that much of a fire hazard in the living space. At least if a fire starts, it'll be behind this wall and I'll have time to get out. But just showing how little space there is and where everything's gonna lay out when I'm done building it. There'll be the fridge will be here. I'm probably going to do some workspace here. I think I want the sink in this corner, and then we'll have a 2-burner stove kind of right in the middle. I already have a propane stove, but the battery power, there's enough power there to essentially support induction cooking. We've got a massive 3,000 watt inverter. We already talked about the air conditioner. Essentially what I don't with the door here is I can put a desk here, something like that, and then like shelves up top, way better for storage. Another big thing here too is trying to build this super cheap. A lot of the stuff like the batteries, the fridge, all of that stuff was used or was going to be used, and the solar was going to be used for a camper that was going to go on this thing here. So custom flatbed, there's plenty of videos on the channel about this guy right here, and I'll show you what was going to be the truck camper. That's essentially it right there. It's all aluminum frame. I'm going to do an update video on this guy in the future. This is the vast majority of the frame. Like I could take this and start building the camper, but it's a couple months out, and I'm thinking about scrapping this entire frame just in favor of a different construction material. But I'm going to do a whole big update video on what's going on with that in a separate video, so make sure to stay tuned for that if you're interested. Another thing somebody was asking about is they were asking about how am I going to do laundry and stuff like that. Well, you can on like Walmart or Amazon, you can buy little washer dryer combos, and they're not tremendously big. They're probably about the same size as that toolbox that you saw earlier. So that would essentially mean I can stay off grid for as long as I want. I don't think I showed it to you in there, but there are fresh water and gray water tanks in there. So I have a ton of capacity of water. I have a 16-gallon freshwater tank and a 30-gallon freshwater tank. I'm not going to use both of them in the trailer, but either one of those is plenty of water to stay out for like a week. And you know, running a small load of wash wouldn't be too bad. Super cool stuff. So also let me know what you think about a first project for this thing. So obviously I said it's going to be a workshop fabrication trailer with a house on the back of it, but so some of the first projects I'm thinking about is this truck has all aluminum rock sliders. So for those people that may not be off-roaders, the whole point of those sliders right there, so you can actually drag the truck across rocks and stuff like that. I've made 2 sets of these. One of the builds is on the channel. So I built a steel set that builds on the channel, and I also built an aluminum set. That's what this is. But essentially I don't like them, and I want to build another set essentially out of steel. I sold my first aluminum set. The other big project would be this right here. So there's another video covering why this truck looks so weird. But real quickly, in short, what I'd like to do is build essentially like another grill for it. I already have these 4 bolts here, 2 bolts on this side, 2 on the other side, and there's a big structural member that comes up and a big hoop that goes around it. I didn't really care about front end protection because this truck's very light and it handles really well. That's why the front end looks like this. But when I'm towing that big thing, we won't be able to swerve. So I want some sort of a big hoop protection bar, big old rigid thing. I think that'd be a really good first project for the trailer, or a set of rock sliders like we already talked about. I guess other small things, the trailer is essentially going to build itself. So if there's a workshop in the back that I can store tools in, that makes it really easy for me to build out the workshop on the road. Pretty much the only thing I'm waiting for is this wall to get finished. I'm about to take out this door again in a second. And the air conditioner needs to be up and running. I live in Florida. It is super humid. If you're trying to be inside of something with the doors closed, it's absolutely terrible. And we have mosquitoes here, so I cannot leave that door open. So as soon as I get the wall up, I'm going to start living out of this thing, which should be super interesting. And then I'll start posting a lot more like kind of vlog style videos of how I'm living out of this. Should be pretty interesting. So yeah, if you made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing and check out all the other videos that are on the channel. There's plenty of custom projects and adventures on there. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I think there's a couple things I forgot to mention. As you can see, the door's gone. AC is still there. I'm finishing out the paneling for that. The other reason why the AC is going, or excuse me, another reason why the door is going is because of this right here. So this part is the frame and this part is the door. It's supposed to seal, and if you can see that movement, there's literally a gap in there. So that'll be a huge problem running air conditioning off grid because it's really power consumption. it's really power hungry, and this little gap is just going to constantly bleed in heat. And then on the bottom, there's another little gap down there. $600 camper door. It doesn't seal that well. The reason why it doesn't seal is the only thing that's actually like affixing the door part to the door frame is this latch right here. So this is pulling in the middle of the door, and that part up there is kicked out, and the bottom's kicked out as well. It's just thin aluminum extrusion. It's not located that well, and it's just going to create a problem with sealing, because you're constantly going to have hot flowing in on top, cold flowing on the bottom. It does have the hot, cold, top, bottom like that because of air density. Speaking about air density too, somebody might mention it in the comments, so I'm going to cover it right here. That AC is on the ground. I talked about it over there. Cold air is more dense, so it tends to settle to the bottom of a room, for example, refrigerator or whatever, and your hot air is less dense, so it literally floats. The hot air floats on top of the cold air. So with the AC down there, essentially it'll never get the cold air up to the top, so your feet will feel the cold air. Up here will be really, really hot. So what I'm going to do to remedy that with the AC being on there is there's going to be ducting. So you can kind of see this, the way it's sloped is going to bring air up this way, shoot it up out top. That's going to be fine, just in case anyone was going to mention that. Also, talking a little bit more of that trailer here. So you can see sheet material. We've got a full 8 feet of storage from the rear to the cabin area. And you can see sheet material fits perfectly fine in there. I'm going to have little tracks on the floor so we can actually strap all that sheet material down. All this crap behind the sheet material will be gone. This is just stuff to build the door. And then I'm going to have big, long storage. So I'm probably going to make a storage thing that comes from here to the end of the trailer, comes all the way through, actually has a pass through into the living area, which these two will be sealed off. But you can literally do, I think it's 14 feet or 12 feet to here. So literally 12-foot sticks of like material for like, you know, aluminum extrusion and whatnot. The weight's kind of high up, so if we're putting steel up there, that might be an issue. So I'll probably do some racking on the outside if I want to do longer stuff or heavier things, but I usually work with aluminum. I don't do a whole lot of work with steel anymore, so I think aluminum being up there won't be an issue. So anyways, for whatever I want to build out of this trailer, we'll have long extrusions or tubing up top, and then sheet material right there, so we can build pretty much anything. I think that was it. Hey, thanks for watching.